Josh Blake, Painter Files, that guy, this one. I'm just working on this, but you guys asked a long time ago if I was going to ever do any live show, any live painting type of stuff. So why not? You know, why not? I finally figured out how I could kind of like set this up. I've been thinking about this for a while. My old studio had a lot more space, so it was easier to kind of spread everything out. But with this, I think this will work pretty well actually. I'm mostly just kind of messing around with a couple of ideas. So I hope you'll enjoy this. If not, that's okay too. I'm not too worried about it one way or the other. I'm just kind of working on like some finer notes with all this stuff. So yeah, if you have any questions or comments or anything, hello. You're welcome to ask them. I'll try and see them. I might not see them. I have to be honest with you about that. But I'm just working on stuff, you know? Just fed the cats. Just ate something myself. I'm just kind of working on some ideas. A lot of my art plans kind of come from out of nowhere. Like I'll be in the middle of doing something, and then randomly, Mustang Mike, hola, how's it going? A lot of my art ideas just kind of come out of nowhere, so that's what I do. I make these wild little kind of weird choices that I feel fairly good about, but sometimes I don't. And, you know, I wouldn't say anything's ever ruined, but occasionally I don't love everything I do. It'd be nice if I did. I think mental health wise, it'd probably be good if I liked it, if I loved everything I did. Let me see. Still cold out in Massachusetts. Yeah, it's cold in Maryland right now. I think it's like 20 something degrees. We got ice on the ground. We don't really have snow anymore. It snowed for a while and then it kind of just stayed cold. Was pretty much the main thing. Let me see. I had an idea and then it like popped out for a sec. Where did I put all my stuff? So the studio, just to give you an idea, the studio is very different. So the little studio. So now when I have to find something, I have to really kind of remember where I left it. And I don't always do that. Like I don't know where all my stuff is anymore. Sometimes that makes me a little sad, I'll be honest with you. But it's coming together. Just, you know, it's just a little difficult. So I found it. This is what I was looking for. So this is a gold ink from Winsor & Newton. And it separates very badly, so you have to like shake it super hard first to get it to work, and then I can actually make it do things. I should have worn my old shirt instead of this one for the thing, but I was like, I didn't think about it. I was like, whatever, it'll be fine. I don't really think you care, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, so pro tip for those trying to get into art and whatnot, get one of these guys. I do great work. Thank you so much, Mike. That makes me happy. So I got one of these years upon years ago because, like most painters, I have like carpal tunnel and all elbow and arm injuries and all that stuff. So it kind of works like a pickle jar opener type of thing. So no matter what size it is, there are so many ridges. So you just kind of stick them in there, and then if I get it to go, it's like locked in, and then it just kind of Bam. It would be more impressive if this was stuck, but it wasn't. So I love paint there. So let's do some gold stuff, yeah. There we go. So the funny thing about this is, like, this thing is actually like one of those, like, I forget what they're called. They're the selfie stick. That's what it was. It was a selfie stick. A friend was throwing it out, and I'd never used one before. Back in, I don't know, 2011 or something. And so I kept it. And I always figured I would use it eventually. And now I officially have. So there we go. I'm mostly just kind of going to make a mess. I want to make a mess with this. So as you can see, it's there. And then we just go. I love how this stuff like goes, because it definitely like has this kind of crazy effect, and when it dries it's more like an ink and less of a more of a liquid that turns into kind of evaporates and turns more in solids as stuff goes by. So I very much like that. I'm currently trying to work in this type of, I'm trying to think. So I got offered the opportunity a while back to do some artwork for a city. Oh, hey, Blue, what's going on? What are you making? Painting. That is not the best answer. I'm working on this guy right now. I wanted to do kind of like a bust of a. I've been working on trying. I moved studios. My old studio was like 3 times this size, but we moved from where we were for reasons, and yeah, so it's a much smaller studio. So I haven't had the opportunity to really kind of break into like my huge paintings again. So I'm trying to figure out my way to get kind of back to whatever that vibe is that I was working on. So I'm trying to just kind of figure it all out. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know if sometimes I say things and I'm like, I don't know if that was like a sentence really. It was more kind of like a lot of hands and like sounds. Like, no, 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 no. So, yay. So, yeah. I became a. I hate saying this, even though it's true, because it sounds douchey, but I became a quasi-famous artist a long time ago for my figurative work. And so when I was doing all that, I used to do a lot of like women and like ink washes and like tattoos and colors and textures and all that stuff. My background is I am a West Indian Afro-Latino. And so I do a lot of work that is kind of Caribbean, Indian, Latin vibe type of thing going. So I'll give you a closer look of this so that you can see, because I feel like it's not quite as clear as it could be. So let's turn this around so you can look at my face. So yeah, I do kind of like little subtle things, and then like lots of big texture moments in a lot of the work I do. And then why I love ink so much is because I like that it dries in ways that are slightly unpredictable. And so a lot of the work that I do doesn't always, it kind of goes in one way, and then it kind of changes as it dries. And I like that. And then the act of waiting for it to dry sometimes is not as exciting for other people as it is for me. But I like it because it gives me time to kind of think where it's going to go. Thank you. I appreciate that you appreciate my art. That means a lot to me. Thank you. So let's put you back up here. Blah, blah, blah. And then we'll go from there. There we go. There's actually a pretty good dolly on this thing, though. Like, that's actually kind of nice. It's kind of good. Oh, no. Don't fall over now. There we go. So, most of the stuff actually dries really fast. So, I can kind of look at it from an angle and see if it's still wet. And if it is, then I give it just a tiny bit more. And if it isn't, we just let it be, you know? It is what it is. These are how these things work. So, wash my brush off, wipe it off. This is a toothbrush, I know. I have a lot of brushes. You may not know this about me, but I do. To give you an example of some of the brushes that I have, not all of the brushes I have, this is a giant planter that I made into a giant thing for brushes. So that should give you a little bit of perspective on it. Let's see. I'm looking for a very specific type of brush. Got some more ink. Ah, it's a stuck one. Good, I get to use the thing. So I kind of like sometimes using old objects as brushes just because it's a little interesting for me how they come out, you know, like it's not predictable completely. So, and then I have, so my big sister Jenna got me this a couple of years ago, and it's a giant cicada bag. That is also where I put a lot of quick small brushes. There we go. So with those, then I can kind of do a lot of different things. So I like to think about the way stuff works a lot of times, like the way things go into things, so that they kind of show and represent well how I want them to look when I'm going with them. So I will kind of shape a brush the way I want, and then just kind of go from there. I wiped it all off. Okay. I just think it's interesting. It's interesting to like do like weird little stuff like this because it's just, I don't know, it's interesting. I think of like these stranger women I've known in my life and how they really enjoy like their colors, but their colors are so subtle that it's, I don't know, it's interesting to me. I don't know if it's interesting to anybody else, but it's interesting to me. And sometimes that's all you need. All you need is that it be interesting to you. So that you can kind of, you can't be afraid to like mess things up when you're a painter. Very good picture. Thank you, Ivan. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, you can't be afraid to like ruin things. Like everything has its own kind of way of going and doing things. From Russia with love. Nice. Much obliged. Thank you so much. Hello, Russia. How are you? I used to have roommates that were in college. They weren't from Russia. They were from, I want to say they were Belarusian. And so it was kind of interesting. They would always kind of, it was like this one kid I remember, his name was Peter. And Peter was like, very much wanted to be like Slim Shady. Like he had the whole look. Like he was very skinny. And he like bleached his hair blonde. He had these black eyebrows. And he was like he was by far like the most like ladies man type dude you had ever met in your life. And it was just crazy. He was crazy as hell, but he was funny. And he'd say just like these weird like pickup lines at these girls who would walk by, and like they never really worked out, but He was funny though. He's a funny guy. He kind of reminded me of. Has anybody ever heard of the band? Fuck, what do they call it? This is not riveting, I know. They have the song "Start Wearing Purple." I can't remember what it's called. Damn, that sucks. This is a great band. I love this band. My wife and I have seen them like a million times. Eugene's the main singer. They have the song "Start Wearing Purple." They have a song "Dogs Are Barking." They're like a very like eclectic mixed band. Musicians. And I can't remember their name right now. It'll come to me like randomly. And then I will be like, oh crap, I can't believe I didn't know what it was. Where's my iPad? There we go. I can pull this up because I'm upset that I don't remember the name of this band right now. What is the name of that band? I gotta let this dry for a second, anyways. Oh, cool. Thank you for subscribing. Let me see. Start Wearing Purple. Go Go Bordello. That's the name of the band. I'm so embarrassed. I don't remember that. Go Go Bordello is this band, and he very much had like that vibe of like Go Go Bordello. Eugene from Go Go Bordello is like he had this very kind of. He was like a super chill guy, but he definitely had like a very broken kind of English that he spoke. And like most of us were, Spanish speakers or Portuguese speakers, and he was like this kid, and he was just so chill. Like few moments really quite describe when you meet really great people, like they stick with you. My cat's son is beating up my cat daughter right now. So if you see me randomly turn and go, hey, cut it out. Stop fighting each other. That's what it's about. They're also known as the producers for the Painter's Breakfast show. So let me see. What do we want to do? I just kind of want to. When I think about like the way that hair works, it's always super important to me that like we just kind of let it be as wild as like things just kind of grow. Like there's the whole thing of it just being like an organic path in which everything moves. And it's just important. It's important that it stays that way. Like I would never want my work to be something where it's so strict and I'll wash this brush. So strict that it's not free, It needs to be free and flowing. So that's what we do. Let me see. So a big part of my work is just the mess of it. I think the mess of it is more important than anything else. So thank you to my friend Netararu who sent me a crazy amount of painter's tape. When I say crazy amount of painter's tape, I mean crazy amount of painter's tape. But it's good painter's tape though. I'm very happy about that. Like I've had bad painter's tape. Bad painter's tape is so depressing because like you put it down and then it just rips up all your stuff. And there's nothing you can really do about it once that happens. Like you're just kind of a victim of painter's tape that rips your art apart. And then you just kind of have to roll with it. You got to be cool with it. You got to find the piece that is made by not knowing whether or not it will destroy your artwork. Like that's okay. That didn't come off. I mean, it's still possibly going to rip up some of this painting, and that's okay. If it does, I'm flexible, but if it does, it does. Whatever. I don't really care. I'm not super, super, super attached to my work oftentimes. If it falls apart, like, I'm okay with it. A lot of times it kind of gives me an opportunity to do different layers, like build with it. So that's what I'm gonna do if that's what it comes down to. So we'll get some colors out here. I do find it funny. People ask me a lot. They're like, "Well, what are you trying to do with a lot of the art you do?" And I mean, my big goal is to let people know that they're they're a lot that they're represented in art that they typically wouldn't see themselves in, as that's really important to me. So I typically try and always make my art so that the people who I don't think are oftentimes represented are represented in it, because I think that's really important. Like I said, as I repeat myself twice. Um, I when I was a young painter, I realized that, like, love watching me paint. Thank you. What are you crying about? What's wrong? What's wrong? Come here. I'm sure that people would love to see you. No, you just gotta run and break shit in the studio in the apartment, nonetheless. Okay, well, you do that then, buddy. You let it all become one with your chaos, if that's what it takes for you to feel happy. And I'll accept that as who you are. So I try to always kind of think about that when I make stuff for people. I do a lot of commission work, but I also do a lot of my own work. And when I do my own work, do I sell paintings? Yes, I sell lots of paintings. I sell a lot of paintings, actually. It feels like a weird humble brag type thing to say, but yes, I sell a lot of paintings. My paintings mostly sell to private collectors, but I do occasionally do like art shows and festivals and all types of stuff. I'm currently about to be a part of a art festival for the city of Hagerstown in Maryland. So that's kind of where I'm planning on doing some stuff to hang up soon, but I don't know when the next thing's gonna be that. I mean, I have like a lot of customers, so I do those. I have art books. I have all types of wild and weird little paintings and stuff that I do, but I also have giant paintings and murals and all that type of stuff too. I'll show you some of my work if you like. I'll share like one of my books or something if you'd like to see those while we let this dry. I'll go into the library and grab one of my books and just I didn't want to do that. Crap. Well, we'll do something different then. Do I have anything for sale right now? Sure. If you see something you like on any of my stuff, if it's not sold, it will be soon. To you, preferably. Yeah. If you look at the description for my videos and the comment description stuff, there is a link. And if you follow the link, it'll take you to my store. I've got prints right now for sale. I've got a few paintings. Depending on what it is, I mean, some are inexpensive, some are not, just to be honest. I've been a painter for a very long time, so what I sell, I sell quite a bit of. So I've got a lot of like I said, I've got a lot of private collectors, so I do a lot of work kind of with them, but I also do just like my own work sometimes, just because, like, sometimes you just make art and it doesn't matter if it sells or not. You're just making it because you want to make it. So I have a lot of that work too. But if you ever see anything you like, I mean, there's lots of stuff. All right, let me grab my last art book. Give me a sec. Okay, I'm back. Don't go anywhere. Don't leave. Don't leave. Don't leave. Everybody here? Okay, good. Hi. So this was an art book I did last year called Murder by the Dozen. So it was around like Inktober or so, but I had kind of done it the whole year. And I wanted to do, I'll just show you the book. So I always wanted to do kind of like a little art book, like a zine, because I had done like so many art books that a zine just seemed kind of like a fun little idea. So I did like all these pieces. I don't know if you can see those. So I did stuff like that. I did a bunch of interviews. I went on a bunch of shows. I did all types of stuff. And I just had a good time with it. So I started making all these like books and prints and doing shows and doing all this stuff. And these are just the black and white ones. Like most of the stuff I do is in color, but this was like my one black and white project that I wanted to do. Also, if you go on Apple Books, I think that's what it's called. Apple Books has a lot of my art books on there actually, and they're pretty inexpensive. I think like $10. Type of stuff. I just did like these little wild kind of pieces and whatnot that I wanted to do. These are just kind of like process photos. Things I wanted to work on. Let me see, it says, I feel in love with crows as a kiddo. They seemed so free and wild. I would imagine moments in the backyard talking to them and becoming friends. Ink is in my blood. It is the energy inside me, and that funds me around across the canvas. Gracias. Thank you. So that was my zine. I know you love it. It's great. No, I know I like it. I think it was good. I thought it was good. I guess if you wanted to see what my normal everyday all the time work from old art books and stuff that I've done, I would think I used to do like I have one art book that's just like pinups and stuff, so I did those. Stuff like that. Kind of crazy. I like it. What does this say? Weren't you just in someone else's live and you said Japan? I guess that's not for me. Oh, it's not for me. It's for Darkseid. You could be from both. I mean, I'm from a lot of places. It's kind of how that works. You can watch my butt while I look at things. Let me see. Things in which I do. I did not make these albums. I did make a CD though. I did a CD cover for some people a while back. Let me see. So I have this one project that I've been doing at all my art shows, and it's a question of what's your top 5, and people go, what do you mean? And I go, it can be anything in the world that you consider to be your top 5. They don't even have to be related to each other. So I put a bunch of those out, made a bunch of mixtapes, painted them up, and then I had people fill them out, and it was interesting. People put like the X-Men, people put Night on Bald Mountain by Gorsky. Musu. Let me see. Books. My family, my dog, my health, cannabis, knitting, dancing, bath, walks outside, naps, going outside. Lots of people like go outside. Hiking, reading, fall, flowers. Somebody said The Ravens, Seinfeld. Nobody's perfect. But there's like a bunch of these. I'm going to do a book of these one day. It's going to be just all these ones that people have done. Because I think I have like a good amount of them so far. I want to get maybe like 100 or so going. And then I'll do like a bunch of stuff from these, you know. But these always make me happy. I forget I have these and then I find them again and I'm like, oh yeah, that project I was working on. Go figure. I'm trying to see. What do I have that I like that's in this pile? This is just a big pile of artwork that I've done throughout the years. Some are good, some are maybe it's okay, some are wild, some are a little strange and ugly and whatnot. I just like doing them. So it made sense. Big ones, little ones, tiny ones, huge ones. Do you have any on big canvases? I have some that are on like 5 foot tall canvases. If that is your like. I do tell people though, if you order things that are huge, just realize the shipping is insane. Shipping for those things can be kind of crazy. A tiny print that I did a very long time ago. Let me see. Work on canvas. What do I have? Let me see. This is a stretched canvas that I did years ago. I have them on actual canvases, but like this is like a stretched one. So, when I used to do a lot of acrylic work. A lot of them aren't related to anything though. Like they were just fun pieces I put together once upon a time. So it just kind of depends, honestly. I did a lot of work on like wood prints on like big wood boards at one point in time because it was easier to kind of work on it back then. All right, so here's the scary part. Wish us luck now. Okay. Thank you, Della. Thank you. No, she asked where my homeboy was from and the thing. Do you have any things? See, I'm just in everybody's business. That's the problem. That's what happens when you get old. You think everybody's talking to you. All right, so we're going to take these off. Hopefully they don't rip. They might rip. I don't know. If they do, that's okay too. I'm not worried about it. Sometimes it just adds a little more character to stuff. Sometimes it pulls stuff off. Sometimes it doesn't. There's not always a way to tell. You just have to kind of be patient and see if it does it, and if it does, that's fine. And if, like I said, if it doesn't, then that's fine too. But I like it. And I don't look for like super perfect edges. I know like a lot of artists like to have these like strange, like really strong, no blur over edges for paintings and stuff. But I don't care. It's not my way. It's my way of being. So I don't. I'm sad that Sam couldn't be here. I think Sam really wanted to. Sam's been asking me to do these for almost a year now, and I was like, I will get around to it, I promise you. So, serious Sam, when you see this, realize I was thinking about you, and I hope you're having a good time in Australia. Ooh. All right. So far, so good. We'll see. Let me see. Hopefully this will work. So I'm a strong fan of being a messy, crazy person. And so I don't worry too much about anything. Yeah, man. Mushed it. Oh well. There we go. I always joke with my wife that like after I do a big painting and everybody sees it and they like it, in my mind I'm just like, and then throw it on a bonfire. Just for the sake of chaos. And so I don't, but I want to sometimes because I'm mischievous and I can't help myself to think that it would be hilarious. That bunch of people go, no, and I'd be like, yes. So I'll do that. I like to reuse my tape. I like that it's kind of messy, and I like messy, so that's how that works. For those who don't know me, get to know me. I am a messy person. I also do a lot of commissions. So, like, I did this one a couple of weeks ago for a client that they wanted kind of a medieval type of thing going. So I did that for them. And so if you go in my videos, you can probably find it. It's like this woman in chainmail, and she's got all this like crow stuff around her, because crows are kind of my thing. And then sent that off, and it was good. Mailed it, shipped it. That is the good thing about like selling art a lot. Like you become very familiar to local shipping places. So now when I go in, they don't even ask me what my name is. They just go like, Blake. And I go, yes. And they go, okay, here. The only downside is when trying to be a professional artist, make sure you have your shipping prices properly. Because ain't nothing sadder than to undercharge for your shipping. Because you just kind of have to eat it. There's not much you can do about it after that. You have to eat the cost of painting and shipping painting. Because it is what it is at that point. Nice mess. I like it. I like it. Like I said, I like the shapes it takes when you do weird paintings. You do weird stuff with tape. It's just meant to be messy. And I respect it. It's like, where the hell did I put my brush? I think the only downside about doing it this way is like you get paint all over. I mean, paint on your hands isn't so bad, but you don't want to like accidentally put paint on the canvas. Like, I'd like to do it on purpose, at least a little bit. So let's pull some shit off. My mother watches these and she's like, "Why do you cuss so much? It's unnecessary." I'm like, "Because it feels right. Better to keep some than pay some when it comes to running a business, and shipping expenses gives you a cushion." Yeah, it's true, but you know, I am in my mid 40s for those. And I know you want to say, "Oh, you don't look like you're in your 40s." It's okay. I don't mind being in my 40s. It's fine. I've been a painter for a very long time, and shipping is kind of always one of those things where it just kind of, it is what it is, you know? Sometimes the pricing is perfect and it'll stay that way, and then some random thing will happen in the world and it costs so much more money. And that's okay. Because you got to do what you love. I mean, you get to make a living at what you love to do. Can't be mad about that. Like it feels like something that someone who has too many good things going for them would have and would be upset about. So, yeah. I mean, I like it. I think it's weird, but I like it. I feel like I don't feel like it's done, but I feel like it's at a good spot right now. Let me show you. All right, let's do this. I'm dropping stuff and I'm following stuff. There you go. See how weird that is. Hella weird. And I feel pretty happy about that. You know, I feel pretty good about that. So, Galeras, I hope you're well. I hope you had fun watching me paint for about 40 minutes. And, yeah, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you have the rest of your night for whatever you need to do. Let this dry. I'm gonna guard it from the cats. Tom's gonna try and steal this, so I gotta throw this out. And I'll see you around. Let me see. What do I say? If you really like the show, you can always help. You can always help support on Patreon. I got lots of stuff there. There's follow the links. There's stuff you can buy. There's merch. There's shirts. There's paintings. There's all types of good things. So have a good one. Every Monday I do a show called Painter's Breakfast. That's where I eat breakfast and we talk about a bunch of art stuff, all your questions and queries, and I tell you a couple art stories and stuff like that. And yeah, I'll see you around. Oh, don't forget to like, subscribe, and write comments and all that stuff. Okay, this is it. I'm gone now. I promise. Painter out. Ciao. Bye.